Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to the grand final of the Korean StarCraft League Open number 5 here. In the top right spawning as our red Zerg player playing for Onsite Gaming, it's of course a Solar. And in the bottom left here as the blue PROTOSS player, it can only be one. Well, it can be many, but it is Classic. Opening up with a Nexus before core here and managing the block on Solar's initial hoped base. There's no hatchery where Solar ideally expands. See Classic going pretty ham here with this probe. Drilling away at these mineral patches. Very important, of course. Don't want to give your opponent any money if you can deny it. And the way that Classic was mining makes me believe that it's going to be a Stargate opener here as well, rather than anything else. A lot of gas already in that bank, and indeed we see no warp gate starting up. And thus it can only mean one thing, and that is indeed the Stargate. 222 is actually kind of late for a Stargate from a Nexus before core, but I will forgive him for it. Can definitely get that a little bit earlier, so I'm somewhat surprised. There's one beautiful thing here on this map, as we can all see here, is that a single gateway and a cybernetics core actually form a full block in towards the natural, which means that you can often expand with just a single gate over towards your third base. This is a very rare situation, as it isn't often the case. I think it's actually... No, there's 2 maps in this map pool where that's possible. This is one, and then the second map is Neo-Humanity. But on Neo-Humanity, you do need to use the pylon for the wall as well in order to completely finish it. So, but I would have lied if I would have said that there's there's only one map where it's possible. Adept goes in to just scout a little bit, doesn't really want to give it up, as an Oracle is now on the way. And it's actually a second gateway. I was going to say I do believe it's going to be a fast Nexus, but it's not actually the case. Oracle should come out soon. Stalker should be capable of taking out this Overlord, or at least denying its vision. Adept will be sent back. Can this creep tumor be sniped? Yes, and the Adept gets away as well, or, well, it will get away temporarily here. Solar picks the wrong path. He had 2 choices and he made the incorrect one. Very unfortunate for him. Very fortunate, of course, for Classic, who keeps his Adept alive. Sends his Oracle across the map, though. That means that this Adept is still going to be in a little bit of trouble. Probe will throw down that Nexus, so that is nice for him at least, as here comes our Oracle. Let's see how much damage it can deal. Spore not quite done yet, will finish up just now, as a little bit of hull damage gets taken here, and 1 drone will go down. Second Oracle is on the way. Oh no, sorry, there's a third Oracle I was thinking. That's a fairly late second Oracle otherwise, but second Oracle out already, third Oracle on the way, and the follow-up is going to be more gases. So no 2-gas shenanigans here out of Classic. It's not very common either. Third base has been spotted for Solar, and that means he can safely throw down an Evo chamber and go into +1 melee. Forge on the side of Classic, as there's just a single queen here. That means that 3-4 workers will go down. 3 workers for now. Of course, these Oracles will come back another time. Double, triple Adepts make their way across the map. Triple Adepts is not a great number for shading into locations, but it's a great number for one-shotting creep tumors. Seems like Classic actually does want to be a little bit more aggressive than I would have thought. Here comes one Revelation, I think. No, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Yeah, just gonna hit a single creep tumor though. Could have probably put that a bit further down to try and hit double creep tumors. Fourth base not on the way yet. Here as we see a Twilight Council, 4 more gates, and +1 start. And as these 2 Stalkers get warped in, I'm getting some heavy Blink Stalker vibes here out of Classic. Oracles and the triple Adept still looking to either deny creep or maybe look for some damage. Maybe both at the same time. I mean, it is completely viable to try both things. Snipe here on the 4th base would actually be kind of huge. That would be really nice here. Oh, that is so great. So 75 minerals down the drain. On top of that, a delay in 4th base. And of course, taking out that drone is another 50 minerals that you're taking out. So just money-wise, it's worth it. But it's especially worth it if your opponent is having a heavy focus on links with quick melee in the early game, because you often lack larva in that case as a Zerg player. And losing that 4th base means that you're going to be larva deficient for quite a while. Adepts find an opportunity to jump in towards his 3rd base, Solar believed that they had gone home. Not the greatest target fire out of Classic. Will take out 3 drones and delay a lot of mining time here. Triple Oracle still just floating around. How many creep tumors have gone down already? We see 4 tumors have been taken out so far in this game. That is definitely a pretty significant number. As to most likely just delaying his opponent's creep by so much that now this fourth base might be free for the taking here. Absolutely. Look at that. That's a lot of Stalkers. 11 Stalkers. Yes, Blink isn't done yet, but does that even matter if you have this many Stalkers? And there's really nothing in position here. 27 Links now coming in. Melee level 1 has finished up. I think 2 Oracles can turn on their Pulsar Beams, and I think 2 Oracles did just turn on their Pulsar Beams. We do see 6 gas as a follow-up, second robotics facility, and a Robo Bay. So Classic seems to be going for a double Robo Colossi type of play. Maybe mixing in 1 or 2 Disruptors with this as well, but definitely as a start Colossi, as the opener is pure Ling here out of Solar. Fourth base luckily did finish up and is still alive. Can transfuse it now, but that was close. That was really quite close. If Blink is just a couple of seconds earlier, I actually believe that Solar's in a world of trouble there. So then you have the micro ability with the Stalkers. You can move back and forth once again. Creep tumors being taken out. Solar really struggling getting any creep out whatsoever as Colossi production now starts. Fourth base will be taken here at the forward position, 7 minutes and 40 seconds into the game. It's not the fastest one, but it's definitely not slow. Oh, this is so much damage here being dealt. Just indirect damage. Like, the worker count for Solar is now at a good worker count, but that's pretty darn late. Infestation Pit is going down, but only now. Like, Vipers are still so far away, and that's really the hard counter to this style that we see Classic playing. Classic probably wants to hit with high Colossi count, +2 attack, fourth base behind it, and eventually perhaps transition into a Templar Archive as well. For now, he's just really active on this creep tumor denial, and I'm loving it. Every tumor you deny now is basically a faster timing that you're hitting at with your Colossus push, because you don't have to deny the creep anymore later on. He's basically playing this as a Terran, Classic is. He's just rotating from left to the right, from the right to the left, taking out creep, forcing out units from the opponent, making sure your opponent isn't cutting any corners. And Solar just hasn't been capable of setting up any run by here, isn't even aware of the fact that there's a fourth base coming up. We do have a single contamination here on this Robo, but there's going to be at least 3 Colossi with thermal lens and +2 before any Vipers are out on the map. And that means that Solar's defense is going to consist of Banelings with speed, with +2, and a lot of Roaches and Ravagers. And although that is a good defense against maybe 140, 150 supply of Stalker Colossi, against 180 supply or 190, or perhaps even a maxed out Protoss army, on 67 workers as well, that could get very dangerous. I'm absolutely in love with this Ling run by, because this might actually kill a Colossi here if Solar is paying attention. He is paying attention, could still move a couple of Lings in towards the natural, did not do that, and will not manage to get in as a result. That definitely would have put some pressure here on Classic to move quicker. Now Solar is still going to take out this fourth base most likely, as this fourth base is extremely vulnerable. Battery can be attacked, big warp in here though. As for now, Classic taking it slow. What do we have here? We have 3 Colossi, 1 has been taken out, an extremely high Stalker count, and the first 2 Vipers on the way. The moment those Vipers have energy, this push pretty much ends. But before that, it's going to be really difficult. Lots of stasis wards here as well. Beautiful pushing coming out of Classic, man. This is one of the sickest plays I've seen in a long time. Just great splits, great defensive setup here as well. And he's taking a fantastic fight here for starters. 22 more Links, 6 more Roaches on the way, but this base is absolutely toast. His own fourth base has managed to stay alive, as we have double Disruptor production coming in now, and with only 2 Vipers being out, are there enough abducts to take out every Robo unit? This base is actually not being taken out here. That might be a mistake, because I'm not so sure if Classic can continue pushing. Classic believes that he can. Does have +2, of course, on this army here. Here comes a Disruptor shot, perhaps. Abducts are completely empty now. Well, the Vipers are empty, cannot abduct any longer. 3 drones go down, but a fourth base is being rebuilt up here. And I actually think that Classic is, yeah, he's probably winning this. I have a difficult time seeing him lose this game. Viper should come back quickly with the energy. Yep, 2 abducts are available, but the Baneling count is so darn low. And if these Vipers die, this is going to be just a straight up win here. Funnily enough, I actually wouldn't mind seeing a 3rd Robo here for more more production of Colossi and Disruptors. Oh, here comes one. The Stalker, Disruptor. That was the empty Disruptor, though. Colossi still alive. GG gets called as Classic wins an absolutely fabulous Terran-like game number 1 here on Royal Blood in this Grand Finals. Fantastic game number 1 there out of Classic. I really liked a lot of the things he was doing there. Just the general style in the first 6-7 minutes. Like the setup for that push, I think is phenomenal. Legitimately some of the best I think I've seen in a very, very long time. Just really smart thinking and knowing what he wanted to do in the later stages of the mid game and setting up his entire early game for that. Like the constant pressure of the triple adept just denying creep, then the constant rotating of the stalkers just denying creep, like legit playing it as a Terran. And then you have this Colossus push, which he kind of sets up like a tank push as well. Like he gets those stasis wards, he slowly but surely moves forward, and Vipers are just too late. And I think that entire game changes with a quicker Viper timing, if that is possible, but Solar was so afraid of the Stalkers that he didn't feel like he had the freedom to throw down an infestation pit and tech into Hive earlier. Like, this honestly was a masterclass PvC. I am still not a particular fan of the build order, the double Robo Colossi. It feels a little bit too all-in my opinion, often, and there is a pretty hard counter to it in, excuse me, in the Viper, but also in just, like, Lurkers are really good against high Stalker numbers. But yeah, despite me not personally being a huge fan of the build, the way that he executed it and the way he set up for it, I think is the optimal way to set up for it. So if you're gonna play a build like this, I think this needs to come before it. Like, isolated, the double Robo Colossi build is not great. But if you have an opener like this, and your plan is set up like this, and you execute it the way that Classic did here, I am okay with it. So once again, we have an Oracle popping out here for Classic. Adept into Stalker, I think is what I saw here. And his first Oracle isn't actually being chrono boosted. No, it is. Never mind. I didn't see any logo over here. I thought he always had the chrono boost logo on the Stargate if something got chrono boosted. Oh well, it is what it is. Adept is going to kind of swap over. And the way that Classic seems to be using his Adept is more in a scouting style than anything else, right? He isn't really trying to deal damage with this. And it's a difference between him and Hero, whereas Hero is always looking for damage. Classic seems to be okay with just getting information and staying safe until he has that third base up. Now, trying to take out that Overlord like he did last game, second gateway coming down as well, and there's a Stalker here, there's an Oracle here. I think he's absolutely fine. He did cut one Adept. Last game he played second Adept after the initial Stalker. That's not the case here. So a small switch up, and we see a second switch up as well. This is classic, honestly. Never playing the same build twice in a row. Never want your opponent to get comfortable. This is, yeah, this is textbook Classic. It really is. With that robotics facility, 2 more adepts being warped in, going up to the 3 adepts here, actually trying to hide them as well. These are not adepts that are, you know, just going on a stroll trying to take out a creep tumor. I think these are actually looking for damage, and Lynx are out of position. Overlords are going to scout it fairly late in. Adept Shade, does it go in? Yes, it does go in. Lynx try to run back at a very high pace, but are not going to be in position. There is 4 Lynx here, actually. I think he will finish it. Yeah, he will definitely finish it. 2 Adepts are getting split off here, taking out 2 drones as he comes in. Oracles did fly back home. The follow-up is going to be Immortals. 2 Sentries as well warped in the main base. Look at the location where everything is being built. Sentries in the main base, so they can't be spotted. Not a huge fan here of the gateway locations, because this is near the edge of this, where this Overlord is resting currently. So this Ovi is going to pop in, and it's going to spot all these extra gateways. That is 6 extra gateways. That is an amount where, if Solar scouts this, he isn't going to build more than 60 workers here. He's going to be stuck on... Maybe he'll just quit after he sees this. He's like, all right, this is it. That's enough. Do I need any more drones at this point? Or am I fine being up 10, 11, 12, 13 workers, whatever number he's at right now? I think Solar is completely content with his current worker count. Is he even going to add a fort base in? Perhaps he wants to, just for the sake of getting a fort base, you know, just having it as a safety move, basically. He could do that, but he doesn't necessarily need to. He can just rely on 51, 52, 53 workers here, higher gas count, and go into Roach Ravager. Get Glio Reconstitution, Evo Chamber is not even a necessity here. And as long as he micros this semi-correctly, there is no way in hell that Classic is going to be capable of killing his opponent here. Because Solar had not a great early game. I mean, he did lose 11 workers. But he had a good enough early game that if he gets such a clean scout like he did here, and if he gets that confirmation again and again, which he is getting, I mean, taking out that pylon, forcing an Oracle to come home, he should never ever die to this. It should literally be impossible. Good first 2 force fields though. The Ravager tries to save these queens. Very good initial force field rounds, but those are going to be the force fields that Classic will be working with, and it's just going to be a single immortal for the major damage output here. Army supplies are fairly close, but favorable for Solar. Solar pushing these spores forward as well, just tanking a little bit of damage, making sure that Oracles and Prisms can't move too far forward. Both of these have been taken out right now, but they did buy a crap ton of time. No Glio Reconstitution. Drones are being pulled. 7, 8 workers going down. Is Classic actually doing it here? 69 supply against 49 here in the army supply, that is. And I do believe that Classics is plummeting a little bit faster than his opponent. There is no roach speed yet, so we are not necessarily going to see a wild Stalker chase over here. As all these units will stay alive for now. Good control once again coming out of Classic. Really showing what he's capable of. And he's stretching this fight out, but I don't think he's going to be victorious here. Look at that supply right now. 44 to 32. Actually, might be doing it. Good kiting. Prism is going to fall. That means that this Immortal could potentially be in danger. But at the same time, Solar losing a lot of crap. Had that Prism still been alive, I actually would have been a bit worried here for Solar. I mean, gives that Immortal a little bit more flexibility on where to move. Now the links coming from the back will finally take it out. And I do believe that Solar is going to stay alive. Is a recall available? It should be, but it's not going to be utilized. These Stalkers will be fighting till the day they die. And that day is coming darn soon. 77 supply to 50. The third base have been taken out by those links that we just saw come in with the Immortal flank as well. And despite the damage, the vast damage that Classic had dealt here, taking out another 10 workers, taking out a bunch of queens. I mean, only 4 queens remaining. How many have gone down here? 6 total have gone down. Great fight overall out of Classic. Really kind of squeezing water out of stone. But, yeah, sometimes it's just not enough. Solar just had a jug of water, and that's a lot more useful than having a stone for drinking. Trust me. If you're doing a competition on who's staying the most hydrated, the guy with the jug of water is going to beat the guy with the stone, no matter how strong you are. Yeah, there's just too many roaches, too many Ravagers at this point. Glio Reconstitution very close to finishing up here as well. And Classic getting ready to, well, to tap out, I feel like. He's dead. Solar's tying up the series here. As Classic still trying his best. Final warp in of the game, most likely. It's going to be 2 Stalkers and a Zealot getting warped in towards their death. That's not quite what you see once you leave Ire. GG gets called, and indeed Solar wins here on Babylon. And despite that being a loss there for Classic, I still think it was an important game in the series overall. Because it shows his willingness to switch up. It shows his willingness to be aggressive as well. His ability to have different type of build orders from a similar opener. First game we of course did see a triple Oracle opener, and the second game it was just a double Oracle opener. It also was a lower gateway unit count, so it was slightly different in that regard, but still fairly similar feel, right? You're dealing with Oracles, you're dealing with Adepts in the early game, but the build order after, yeah, a little bit. Unfortunately, it got scouted. And if you build those gateways a bit further to the right, or you have the Stalker in position in the main, I mean, a lot of what-ifs there, but it would have been so much harder for Solar if he has 10 more workers. It's not uncommon for a Zerg player to go up to 66 workers. I actually think that is extremely common against most all-ins with a third base. I think that's the golden standard if you're a Zerg player. So yeah, kind of lucky there for Solar in a way that he did end up scouting that. But of course he did have the Overlord in position, so it's not really luck. He prepared for that. All right, what do we have here in this game? This was a gas first out of Classic. That means he's going to be going for a no scout or a core scout, one of the two. Seems to be opting for the no scout here. So we have quite a few extra minerals. Also a little bit extra gas because of that quicker assimilator early on. Let's see where he's going to build that pylon. Ooh, weird location. I for sure thought it was going to be over here, but not quite the case. It's going to be a quick Stargate, most likely. See the gas count rising. Rising, rising, rising. Up, up, and away. Ooh. Is it still a Stargate? Is it hidden? What is this? Hello? What are we building here, Chief? Adept? Warp gate? It's gonna be a hidden Stargate. A little bit further back. And it's a fake as well. Look at that. That is beautiful. I like that a lot. I think that's a good start here for Classic for sure. Let's see how Solar's going to respond. Because he scouts this with the Overlord. Sees the Warp Gate researching. You see an Adept going into a Stalker. You're kind of, in this case, I really believe you're still expecting a Twilight Council. Maybe something like a DT drop. Because there's no block on your natural. Second gate comes down. So a little bit early. This is another sign for Solar that this most likely isn't Stargate, but it is Stargate. It is uncommon to build like this. Very uncommon. Third pylon on the way here. No chrono yet on this Oracle. So now we'll see what's going to happen. Like, queens are going to be in time, of course. The question is, will they be in position? Are we going to see a fast Roach Warren? Are we going to see a double Oracle save up? This is something that we have seen in the past out of Classic himself already. Like double Oracle save-ups, where you want your opponent to skip spores and build a Roach Warren, you know, and prepare for what's coming. Which the Zerg should believe that it's a Twilight Council. Okay, we have nothing coming down here. I don't quite think that Solar is buying it. He's going to scout this third base. Building 8 links. Yeah, he was going to build a Roach Warren. His drone was actually on the way. Spore starts immediately after scouting that Oracle moving in. 2 queens a little bit out of position as 1-2 drones go down. And at the same time, a massive pull away as well. So definitely worth it. Nice little mind game here out of Classic. Absolutely love that. That was a weird lag spike that I just had. Not quite sure what that was. That wasn't on your end, my friends. That was not on your end. There's something wrong with the replay. My FPS seems absolutely fine. Third base is going to go down as once again. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. We have 3 adapts, but these adapts were not in the correct position, and maybe the Stalker was not in the correct position. Good split off here out of Solar. Quick player, of course, is going to try and take out a couple of workers in the natural while simultaneously taking them out in the main base. We'll take out 3, 4, 5. I think he's going to get at least 6 workers here. He's going to aim for 1 more, but will not get it. Oracles at the same time also taking out a bunch of workers. I do believe 1 Oracle end up falling, or is this the Oracle? No, it did not end up falling. So what do we have here now? Where are we now? I don't know. Pneumatized carapace, triple gases of 48 workers. This looks like a bit of a queen, well, I don't want to say a queen wall. This is going to be a queen drop. Oracle's coming back in, triple queens in position, and that means that 1 Oracle will fall. No Revelation here being cast. 4 more drones on the way. Pneumatized Carapace getting closer and closer. 2 more Overlords as well here starting once again. These Adepts are actually shading in. That's a significant amount of Adepts here. Look at that. 8 Adepts, 11 Links are still alive. Queen's helping out, of course, as well. No, these Links actually not quite at home. Neither are any probes to really kill as the Oracles return back to deal with those bad boys. We have a Dropper Lord on the way here. That's going to transport those queens. And I do believe every single Adept is going to fall before getting the scout in. Lynx now forcing these Oracles to stay at home. And that means that Classic will have absolutely no idea about what's happening here. Oh, that is fairly frustrating. Oh, that is so frustrating here for Classic. He figured it out, all right. Oh, he knows what's kicking off. Not quite sure how he figured out, but he absolutely knows. Triple batteries here. He's not quite in position, though, to deal with this yet. Oracle's completely out of energy. There's, what, 6, 7 energy here to be used still. More batteries coming up as these links enter the natural base right now. Can lose a couple of workers because he's ahead by 10. Stalker Warpins are continuing here. 2 gateways with 3 more finishing up. It's gonna go up to 5. Double batteries being fantastic here. Although they can just, of course, get biled. Gas count perhaps not quite high enough for Solar. Our double Oracle's going to be enough. Void Ray is out as well here. Blink not quite done. +1 not quite done. But Super Battery in the far back definitely helping out. Is going to help these Oracles, these Void Rays, and these Stalkers stay alive a little bit longer. We see no target fire on these Ravagers. Just taking out roach after roach after roach. And perhaps it's just going to be enough. +1 and Blink do finish up now. More links are streaming in. 1 more Ravager is going to finish as well. And that means that more biles are going to be being thrown down here from the sky. Called down. I do believe that Classic is holding with plenty of production here. It seems like Solar is running out of steam. Slowly but surely this Dropper Lord is going to be taken out as well. Can he blink on top? Yes, he can blink on top. More and more links still streaming across the map, trying to save these queens, but that seems like mission impossible right now. So this creature is an ambitious one. Guys, I'm making... Good attempt. Robotics facility goes down immediately behind this. +2 charge as well. Gonna probably go up to a higher gas. Actually, does he want to do that? Nice little supply block here, that's for sure. 93 out of 93. Beautiful chrono boost as well on that one Nexus. It's going to be a full chrono boost where your supply block. Usually not quite what you want. 5th gas, 6th gas on the way. Overlords is moving towards the far right side. Not quite sure what to do with their life. Oh, we're fast, but do we really want to go in here against 12 Stalkers? No, not really. These Stalkers are moving out across the map right now with +1, of course. Do have an upgrade lead. And I don't think this is going to be a killing move. But it is a move where you get a couple of free trades. 5, 6, 7 links, kill a couple of creep tumors. And on top of that, you're forcing out a lot of units. Which means that if your opponent does not have the required drone count yet, that's a very, very good sign. And this is a similar setup as the game number 1 here. I really like it. Classic feeling, knowing that he's ahead and following up with this build once more, because it's practically going to be impossible to attack the Vipers here if you are Solar. Dropper Lord once again starts up and round 2 coming in. Fight, but yeah. Unlikely story, if you ask me. Very unlikely story. There's so many Stalkers out already. 22. You have a battery in the natural as well. Well, there's no anti-air here, but perhaps still possible. Plus, he's about to finish up already. I mean, this is a crazy number of Stalkers with a major ground weapons lead. You're fighting 2-0 against 0-0 units here. If Zerg wins this, it's truly the most broken race in the history of races. I just don't believe there really is a way here. It seems so unlikely. No. What's the gateway count? We're at 5. That's actually rather low. Double disruptors are on the way. Solar's actually kind of making this work now. 84 supply against 42. Perhaps I misread this. Perhaps Classic misread this as well here. Forced to pull the probes off the line. Can lose a bunch of probes. Great hold position control here out of him. As now the disruptors come in, and he's going to be just fine, of course. He is going to be just fine, but those were some very, very scary moments. As the Queens once again get sniped out of their Overlord, and yeah, truly have no chance here. 7 more drones on the way, Evo Chamber, but this is, as we call in the business world, some true copium that Solar is on. There's absolutely no way that he can make a clean transition into a macro game from here. He's down in workers, down in upgrades, down in tech. There's freaking 4 disruptors out already. We're going up to 6 right now. You need Ling Bane against an army like this, but good luck getting sufficient Ling Bane of 57 workers. And even if you do, like, you'll need like 30, 40 paints here. Well, 25 paints, you're probably fine, but your roaches are just, they're dead. They're useless. Dead weight here in this army. Can't do anything at all. Oracle's flying back home once again. Another attack here coming out of Solar. Is building 20 more links. Baneling Nest is about to finish up. Melee has started. We have 4 base saturation. Yes, the work count for Classic and Solar are similar, but there's some oversaturation going on for sure on Classic side. So income is going to be fairly favorable here for Solar. Should probably be looking at a 5th base as well. Yep, there we go. Takes it right now at the 6 o'clock. That is perhaps something that could get him back into the game, but I don't actually believe it either. Hey, we're going up to 8 disruptors right now. There's 18 roaches. The disruptor count is almost bigger than the roach count. It wouldn't be such a big deal if there was 95 bailings on the map, but currently there's 10. They don't have bailing speed yet. Like that's an issue. Not a good type of issue to have. Oi, 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 oi. Yeah. 8 disruptors here, double oracles. +3 finishing up, and I think that, yeah, Classic's just gonna push out across the map with +3. With a big disruptor count, and there's really not all that much that Solar can do about this. Look at that. Beautiful denial of the creep here. Classic still playing it slow, just forcing out units, saying, hey, as long as you don't get Vipers. I have many Stalkers, I have many, well, a bunch of Zealots actually in here without anything. But also so many Disruptors. I just don't see a way for him to lose here. Off creep, no shot. And I think Classic is well aware of that. So he's going to go in once more. We see these stasis wards being thrown down. I love that out of Classic. He's so consistent with that as well. And just will send his entire army forward, actually. I thought it was just going to be a little group of Stalkers, 2 Purification of us. Not actually hitting all that big. But yeah, the pure damage output here is just way, way too high. Stasis wards actually putting in some work. Is there any Purification of us available still? No. But is there any Zerg units available still? The answer to that is also no. And that is much worse. So Classic definitely winning it here. GG gets called. So PROTOSS takes game number 3 in this best of 5. It really does kind of feel like Classic is back in very good shape right now. He's been back from the army for a while. I don't actually know how long, but he hadn't really impressed me until, I guess, today. Like today, really, he just feels so solid, like he used to back in the day, you know? Just looks good, has creative ideas as well, which is really important in StarCraft 2 if you're a PROTOSS. Yet plays very solid StarCraft. The Classic always was one of those guys that just thought deeply about his build orders, executes them well, and I feel like he's kind of back when it comes to that. It wouldn't surprise me if within the next 6 months, Classic is going to be getting some major results here. Like he just seems like that guy, you know? He's ready to get some major results here once again. Maybe kind of put himself in the spot of like a top 3 TOS worldwide. You got your hero, you got your max packs, and then Classic perhaps. I mean, it's a possibility. I always feel like the 3rd spot for the TOSs isn't so easily taken. Of course, with Stats and SOS coming back as well, there's 2 new contenders for that again. Curious to see how far they're going to make it onto the ladder and into the tournaments as well. Very curious indeed. All right, we had a little bit of harass going on here. Block on that natural as Solar took it on the 3rd. And our follow-up just a standard Nexus before core. As of late, I've seen Hero actually open up with core before Nexus a couple of times. Playing some cute build orders with that. It's not going to be the case here for Classic. First 4 links coming out here on Solar side of the map. Solar pulls out of gas here. For a second I thought he was going to take a second gas. It looks so weird, the way that drone was moving. Almost like he had some different plans. But he didn't. Oh! Look at this. What are you doing? You madman. Delayed warp gate here into a Twilight Council. Whoo! This is the reverse of what we saw last game. That's just beautiful. It's like these mind game builds just playing into one another. So delaying the warp gate, you usually always do with a Stargate. And insta warp gating, like he did on Ancient Sister last game, you usually only do if you're playing Twilight. So you just flip these 2 things around, which makes it basically impossible to get any major reach from the Stargate. This is Classic saying, hey, my cybernetic score, spinning or not spinning, getting warp gate or not getting warp gate, this is not a tell for you anymore, okay? You need to get your information elsewhere, my friend. You need to get it in a different spot because it simply doesn't matter. And that is really cool. Going into glaives from here as well is a fabulous move. I freaking love this stuff. I wonder what he's going to play. It's going to be 4 gate, it's going to be 5 gate, maybe even 6 gate. We have seen it in the past. We are going to see it again in the future. And look, he even delayed this gateway so much compared to what he did in that last game, right? Last game it was what? Start like 258, 255. This is actually beautiful. This is great mind gaming going on here. Absolutely fabulous mind gaming. Pretending like he wants to take this 3rd base as well. Oh, does really need to get this adept back home. Look, look. He's going to pretend to try and take this 3rd base now. Sending this little probe over. You're not going to want anything with this probe. You don't want this base. He's faking it. Oh my god, Solar is falling for the fake, but at the same time still throwing down that Roadrunner. Okay, he ain't buying it anymore. He sees the lack of a Nexus here with this Overlord. Like, hey, I think I'm gonna need a Roadrunner, but this Roadrunner might actually just be a little bit too late here. This pylon gets cancelled as well. Classic does not want to leave anything on the map here, as these links will most likely die. Resonating Glaives about to finish up. 5 Overlords on the way. Panic, panic, panic here on the side of Solar. As what do we have out of Classic? Warps in 3 more Adepts is going to go up to 8. Make that 9. And we're here 440. Not a single Roach inside. 6 Queens moving out. Roaches will come out soon. I'm not so sure if this is going to be good enough. I am not so sure if it is. Do you want to finish that? I think you might have wanted to finish that actually there, Classic. Because now the next wave is going to be pure Roach, obviously. And where's your Prism? Prism is going for the main base. Okay. Will be a Warp in. That's cute. Hatchery is under attack. Robo-Bay behind is already going up. 43 workers to 38. Oh, I kind of like the way that Classic is playing this. 16 more links, 2 roaches. So here we go into the 3rd base. There's a spine crawler there. It's an off defense that we don't really see anymore. It's a panic defense, that's for sure. Solar, despite being very panicky here, is still going to clean this up with relative ease. We'll take out 3 more Adepts there during that recall. This was a very good trade here. Very, very good opener for Solar. So many links still alive. 45 has plenty of roaches to deal with everything. Queen's in position to deal with the Prism. Does not really have a counterattack in him, or does he? It's 45 links and 8 roaches. Can you fight this? If your roaches are there, maybe you can. Gonna need a disruptor in order to save this. Don't forget, it's not all 15 Adepts are here, because there's 4 Adepts in this Prism. That also means, though, that there's really not all that much at home to defend. And here comes a Solar moving in forward. We'll take out a couple of these Adepts with just the roaches. The links are being sent back home. Could have definitely cancelled this 3rd base otherwise. And still going to continue trying cancelling that 3rd base. These Adepts will not quite get caught. There's now a Disruptor on the way. This Nexus needs to be cancelled. This is the only way. It's the only option here. Disruptor shot misses. We have a lot of Adepts, but that's not enough to deal with this. 9 drones did go down on the other side, as these Adepts have been running rampant in the 3rd base, in the natural and in the main. Cancel off the shades, and that means a couple more drones here are going to end up falling. Decent enough target fire, as 14 drones have gone down in total. Solar, of course, still in a major lead, though, after all of this. Look at this. He's producing more drones. He's up in supply. Does need to be somewhat careful, though, because there's this Prism out right now with the double Disruptor on it and with the Gravitic Boost. And Gravitic Boost, you know, it's a big deal. It allows you to quickly rotate between bases. It allows you to perhaps chase roaches as well. Roaches without Glio Reconstitution to have a difficult time fighting against these Disruptors. This is actually going to be a push here off of 4 gateways with 2 Disruptors, 23 of these Adepts. If this one hits, that could be huge. It's just going to hit a single Roach for now. Goes to the ramp and will drop all of these units on top of the ramp as well. There we go. Very big shot. No, it's going to completely miss. A bit of a failure there out of Classic, honestly, who should have just been doing this better. Double Adepts at the same time harassing at the 3rd base. This army is stuck in the main pretty much. There's not that many Adepts left. This could hit a couple of Queens. Is going to as well. But Roach is still staying alive. Disruptor will fall on top of that. And these 2 Adepts will end up getting cleaned up. This was massively all in here. Out of Classic, who's floating 900 minerals, 700 gas. Did not have the production to get everything out that he wanted, and now is struggling, stuck on 2 bases. We'll send workers over towards a 3rd base location, but Yeah, this isn't quite it. Disruptor shot here hit 5 drones, I believe. It's kind of a big deal. To see Solar just holding down that D button, it's like drrr, owns. That's what I need. Gonna get loads of them. Roaches are moving across the map. There's no disruptors inside here. Well, there's one in the natural and one coming back in a prism, but it might take a little while. These roaches have Glio Reconstitution, good for dodging, perhaps good for jumping on top of disruptors as well. Solar does not want to quite risk it. Look at this chasing move. It's always so tricky here as a Protoss, as well as a Zerg, of course. You're never sure if you can hit them or if you can't. One disruptor gets taken out. Second disruptor shoots 5-6 roaches. -1 disruptor, -5-6 roaches. Not quite sure who's winning in that exchange. All I know is that if this Spire finishes, 6-7 Mutas are popping out. There's no blink. There's a single Stalker out on the map. Classic's going to be in a world of trouble. I think Classic probably wants to set up for another attack here, as Solar wants to set up for, well, a defense. Has a couple of roaches in, a couple drones, Overseer, Spire. Yeah, this Spire is going to be a game changer, that's for sure. Blink is on the way. Unless there's no force, it could be something. Doesn't quite hit here. Lynx, Lynx here running in towards the main, running in towards the natural as probes are being taken out. That means that this is going to be an all-in. I'm not sure if Classic wanted this to be an all-in. I think he wanted this to be some serious pressure, perhaps take out a fort base. But yeah, there's no fort base and this is now all-in because he doesn't have the work account. There's no anti-air. There's not enough infrastructure to warp in anti-air quickly. And the moment these 10 Mutas finish up, this is going to be game 100%. Prism will get blasted here. It's another disruptor shot's going to connect with Queens. Roach count is at 90. None of them are in position for whatever reason. Drones are trying to run away. Blink is close to finishing up, but this is, well, halfway through finishing up. A couple of Stalkers probably being warped in at home. It's just not going to be enough, right? Even if you kill 15, 20 workers here. Mutas are going to be hell to deal with. There's nothing at home anymore. Classic is absolutely dead over here. Nothing he can do. Absolutely nothing he can do. 4 more gateways coming down, but that infrastructure won't even finish before the game ends. I can guarantee you that. Look at this. This is not an army. This is a part of an army. Disruptor's not even going to connect. GG gets called. Classic leaves, and Solar ties up the series, and we'll be heading into our final game of this best of 5. And here we indeed are in our final game. Gresvan. Best of 5. What a map to end it on. I do have to apologize for something. I didn't want to do it, but I have to. I accidentally mixed up game 3 and 4. So the one that I casted as game 3 was actually game 4. And the one I casted as game 4 was actually game 3. I just noticed in my replay folder. So that is my mistake. Luckily, it didn't actually matter for the score. It would have been a little bit weird otherwise, you know. Actually, I couldn't have had... Yeah, nothing bad could have happened here. Never mind, I said nothing. But yeah, just be aware of that. So when you talk with other people that have watched this series as well, be sure to, you know, refer to the correct games. Because I did make a mistake there, apparently. My apologies. Someone was lagging here as well in this game. Seems to have been a Chicken Man. Says, if it happens again, I'm out. Into the Inu made a smiley face here. A simulator on the way. Now the classic. And ooh, cybernetic scores a little bit. 216? What is this? This is not a little bit late. The bus has left like 2 hours ago. 216 for a Cybercore to finish. That's a ridiculous timing. It is supposed to be 211. That's 210, 211. That's a normal timing to finish. I don't know what that was. 216 he finished. That is madness. That is absolute madness. Now, Stargate is on the way here. We have Warp Gate coming in as well. No tricks this time with the Warp Gate. But of course, Solar can't trust anything anymore. So there's no point, you know? There's no point in believing anything. Apparently someone is lagging again in-game. It's kind of weird. Seems like it has been fixed. This adept is going to piss off right now. Goes in towards the natural. Will not get all that much done. Metabolic boost should not finish in time. No, what? Are we turning around? No, 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 no. That should not have been a turnaround. That should have been a runaway, my friend. This was a runaway situation, not a turn around and try and shoot some links. That was definitely a mistake. Oracle making its way across the map. Third base is going to be built here by this probe. Where did that adept go? It's over here now. That was a long shade he made, huh? Next adept popping out soon as well. Solar's going to try to get in here, but of course won't be in time. This probe, however, nope, is also not going to quite make it home. Oracle jumps in towards the natural. Nothing here really to defend. One spore is not going to be enough. Well, apparently if you don't micro your Oracle, it might just be enough. Poor control out of Classic there. It's going to be forced to push that Oracle away for now. Is that a third Oracle? Yeah, that is indeed a third Oracle. Are we going to go? Ooh, yep, triple adept. 3 Oracles. This is the setup that we love. This is the setup that we've seen multiple times. This is a setup that I truly enjoy watching. Can we get a Forged Twilight here as well? 2 drones do go down. Oracle barely manages to stay alive. Not a bit of a lag spike. Seems to be a common occurrence here as these 3 adepts are trying to move around. Forged Twilight, Gateway. Okay, this is the same setup as game number 1. Absolutely the same setup. 6 gateways here. Trying to shade in towards the natural. Not quite gonna get there. Oops. Here come the Oracles. We'll lose 1 Oracle if he continues on. Yes, we'll lose an. What are you doing here, Classic? No, 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 no. These guys are vulnerable. They're almost dead. Lots of hull damage. 1 Oracle went down. Poor start here for our Korean PROTOSS player, who will start with +1 and follow it up with Blink. 6 gateways. That is a significant number of gates. That means we're going to try to put on a lot of pressure here on the opponent. The question I have, is this going to work? I don't know. These Oracles are diving so deep. Look at this. Do they have an oxygen tank? Well, they'll stay alive for now. Yeah, but this is some actual deep diving. Ooh. Oh. Oi, 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 oi. I love that. This is a great move that I don't think we see enough. It's going to be a slow Overlord drop into the main base. And there is a dead space. There's no vision here. Islands are being built. This could be huge. 8 links are so annoying if you're not ready for them. If you're halfway across the map, that could be detrimental. It could be the end of the game. Follow-up is going to be 2 more gateways, robotics facility. Huh. It's not what I expected here. I'd expected maybe a faster fork this time around, but it's not going to be the case. It's absolutely not going to be the case. They are being spotted. Double Stalkers warped in. Can we get a pool of workers? Yes, we can. Man, 2 workers go down. This was a very solid defense. 3 workers for 8 links. I think Classic is going to be happy with that. He definitely is. Spire on the way once again. After that success of the Muras last time. Solar keen to reproduce that. Phoenix is on the way though here for Classic. Might have spotted that Spire. Just inherently aware of what's kicking off, I guess. Oh, actually wants to deal with that Overlord. So he's going to have 1 Phoenix ready. Kind of by accident. Nexus goes down. Links pop in immediately. Like, oh, that's a nice Nexus. Would be a shame if bam bam bam. Someone right clicked it. That's exactly what Solar does here. 9 Mutas coming out. Robo Bay. Oh, what is it? 75% done. This Overlord dies. This Overlord should be dying against this Phoenix, but the Phoenix is having trouble finding it. There we go. It's going to end up finding it right now. Nexus as well being thrown down. +2 on the way. Thermal lands. 5%. Where's the Mutas at? Ooh, gonna find this Prism, or is the Prism finding the Mutas? That's the real question here. I think the answer is a little bit of both. Prism will die. That's annoying, but these Adepts are popping in, and Mutas are actually planning on moving back for them. Seems like an unlikely story. Stalker's moving on the map here. They're aiming to fight some of these Mutas. Can they get one? That would be huge. Oh, this is mass Muta. This is absolutely mass muta. Look at that, 10 more mutas on the way. This is a base trade composition, by the way. This is a composition as well where everything needs to stay alive when it comes to the mutas. Like, you can't lose mutas early on because you're really snowballing hard. Your opponent is not allowed across the map, and you're not allowed to lose mutas. I'm loving the revelation play that we've been seeing so far here out of Classic. If we can get one more on, that would be huge. Yes, we'll get it. Stalkers now once again on the hunt for these mutalisks. Would be huge. Colossi just chilling over here on this fort base location. Once again, Stalkers just blinking in. Roach is now moving forward. Pure Colossi against Stalker is a good trade for the Roach usually. If there's no units at this fort, that's also a good trade for the Roach. Then you're just taking out HP and not really losing much. These Stalkers will continue chasing. Not a single Phoenix, though, being added here in this comp. Just one is out, and that one was used to deal with an Overlord. Is there cannons? Are there batteries? No, there's nothing. It is pure Stalker here to deal with this. A very uncommon approach to deal with the mass muta problem. Because you're just going to get pulled apart, like, almost guaranteed. Like, once the muta count goes over 30... you can fly into the main, and there's very little you can do as a PROTOSS. Straight up engagement here coming out of Solar. An interesting call that does seem to be working out. Classic in a world of trouble. Oi, 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 oi. Solar just being so aggressive, yeah. This mass Stalker approach is so difficult to pull off against mass muta. Because you need to hit your opponent at some point. And walking across the map is practically impossible. You're going to lose every single base trade that ever happens. +2 flyer attacks is on the way as well. There's always the ability to try and fly in towards the main base. Fort base is now toast. Officially toast. Would make for some good breakfast for an Englishman. A couple of beans in there. Sausages. Grilled tomato. Some taters. What do you call them? Hash browns. Love to see it. A little bit of a base trade scenario here, but honestly, I ain't seeing it happening here. Cybernetic score is going to get taken out. That means no more anti-air can be added on into the composition. Army supply is 85 to 115. Worker counts are dropping quicker on the side of Classic than they are on the side of Solar. And Solar also managed to sneak out a bunch of drones. And the only thing he needs to do right now is make sure that he gets 300 minerals so he can rebuild one of his hatches. I think he just cancelled an Overlord or something because all of a sudden he got a big boost in income there. If he just gets a hatchery at the natural, like this game is uber over in my opinion. I don't quite see how Solar is going to end up losing this. That seems like a big task. Yeah, pure muta at this point is almost enough, no? To deal with this, but you mix the links in there and I really am not seeing it. There we go, mutas flying forward. They do not have their +2 attack. Stalkers do have their +2 attack, but I mean, it's ridiculous. 39 mutas. That's a crazy amount as well. That really is a crazy amount. I can probably pull the drones here. Almost feel like sending back links together with the drones and the mutas would be the correct call. Just attack synchronized and win. No, that's the plan in my opinion. Okay, here come a couple of force fields are available. Guardian shield being used first though. What? What is this indecisiveness here? That is a mistake. That really is a mistake. What are you doing, Solar? Wanted to go back, wanted to attack. Definitely could have fought that army. 100%. It's building a hatchery over. It is a terrible location. Probably the worst. What? Why would you build it here? Yeah, Solar is making so many bad calls that he almost makes me believe that Classic has a chance, but I know that Classic doesn't have a chance. It is probably impossible for him to lose this game, or for him to win this game. It's going to be taking out everything though. Classic has rebuilt their base and is no longer being revealed. Oh no, you can't be serious. Solar! Not this base. If Classic goes through that base, this is possible. Look at it. One spore is left. These drones are not in position to take an extractor right now. Well, what is Solar doing? Really, what is he doing? He has 28 workers. Why would he take this base in the first place? I have no clue. He has no money for an extractor right now. No, wait. He did build 3. Okay. So he's not going to die. There's still a spore over here. There's a spore over here. There's a spore down here. And the longer this game goes, the better it's going to be for Solar. So it will be Classic that needs to make the aggressive move. The moment Classic moves out, his Nexus could just be sniped here. We have these 2-3 links should be helping out here for sure. I am not quite sure why they're not. Like, this actually scares me. Solar's making a lot of terrible calls here in rapid succession. Oh, here we go on top of the army. Rather than going for the base, will not snipe the Guardian Shield immediately either. But, I mean, this still should be completely fine, right? There's just not enough to deal with this. Yeah. Classic is going to end up losing, and GG gets called. Solar wins this series with a 3-2 score here. Very nice win in this grand final. I hope you all enjoyed it. I for sure did. Thanks all so much for watching. Oh, and yeah, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Adios, my friends.